Who's ready to rock? We just got this test to pass. We have the playlist with an incrementing name with its integer. It is expected to have many playlist tracks. So again, feel free to take your time to get acquainted with the database. We have a many-to-many relationship between playlists and tracks. But the scope of this is FactoryGirl, so let's dive into that. We want to create a playlist, but we want to use FactoryGirl, so let's create a playlist. Let's go ahead and use the default name. Let's also say that it has tracks. We want the with tracks. Again, if it's not as clear, what we're doing is this is kind of like we're synthesizing all that we've learned on this grand journey of ours. And it looks like album, genre, and media type were just created for the track generation. So again, we can just take all this business out. And yeah, we'll just run with this. We'll create a playlist with tracks. So this might get a little interesting because it's a many-to-many. Let's delete these. I want to expect with tracks album or track count to equal, let's say like 3 again. Typically, 3 is a nice number to guarantee that we're looking at like total values and not just like one value. I guess 2 would work, but I don't know. 3 just is like a little more certain. So let's do track count to equal 3. Let's do a similar thing where we create a second playlist, playlist 2, and we give it a track count of 1. So I'll expect this to be 4. And I'll expect playlist tracks count to, to equal 3. Okay. All right, so let's dive into this. This is unknown territory for me as well. We will have an undefined trait with tracks, trait not registered, very cool. So let's say trait with tracks do, and we're going to say transient do, and we want track count 3. Just make it 2, mix it up. And then we want to say after create, I want to bring in the playlist and and the evaluator. Getting a little late here. And I want to create a list of track. A track can have many playlists. So I think we would actually just do something like this. We'll say playlist tracks. We'll say create list of track with 3. And yeah, let's go ahead and see what we're working with. We'll go binding.pry. And again, just to review here, we made the trait with the same setup we've been using, but let's use evaluator track count here, create list of track, and we're just going to shovel those into playlist tracks because it's a join, and we can't, if we set it equal to something like after create, or where we were going to do like create list track, and then like the evaluator, we'll just say 3 here, and playlist. This isn't actually an attribute on a track because it's many-to-many, so we can't actually set that. So I think this is the way that we need to define that. Let's see if we can even make them. We got in, so that's good. So let's go playlist tracks. Cool. This first one has an ID of 1. So let's do track equals track find 1. We could also do track.first. And let's do t.playlists. Glory, hallelujah. That's pretty beautiful. I'm super happy that worked out. Let's go ahead and delete that pry. And it looks like our tests already pass, which is fantastic. Cool. That is so lovely, right? We, again, chomped this down to like incredibly few lines of code. We're saying a playlist has many tracks that belong to it and only it. We've created a nice many-to-many after create block here with using a trait instead of like a new factory. So we're going to create a playlist with tracks, track count 3. I'm stoked. This is really cool. It's the kind of grand finale. How much time do we have? About 5 minutes. Track gets pretty crazy. So let's see what we can do with this. Let's have our track ready to go. That's passing. So here we want to see that a track is associated with a genre. So let's do that. We have a track dot. Let's do create track, and we want this to be truthy. Cool. Again, if this was nil, it would not be truthy. In Ruby, false and nil are falsy. So if genre was empty, this would not evaluate to true. I'm even fine moving these lines together. Oop, forgot this. Build track. Get out of here. Cool. Our track, and we have a ton of associations. So it has an album. Let's just copy this kind of setup. We create a track, and we would expect album to be truthy. Test that. I expect it to. Again, let's copy this. Those tests passed. Paste this. We expect it to have a media type. Test that. And it can be on many playlists. Awesome. So those tests pass. How many tracks do I create here? I create one track. Let's just say that track equals create track with playlists, right? So another trait, playlists. Let's just say, I guess we'll be Rubius. I wanted to abbreviate it real quick. Playlist count 2. Let's go 3. Again, these albums were just for validations, media types. Something we didn't mention, all these validations, it has name, it has media type, it has milliseconds, and it has album and all these things. So these were all just to make sure that we could actually create it. So then we're actually going to say playlist count. So we're dream driving this. We're not actually going to create the playlist here. We wouldn't need to do this. Oh my gosh, it's unreal sometimes. So I would expect track playlists count to equal 2. R2. And maybe let's just create a playlist, and we can expect playlist count to equal 3. Let's put that above. So again, we're just kind of proving that the amount of playlists are tied to the song. We should get a no with playlists. Cool. Trait not registered. We are in playlist. Let's go to tracks. Let's make a trait with playlists. 29 seconds. Oh, I thought we could do it. Transient do. It's not rushed. Let's take our time here. Playlist count singular. We'll set that to 2. We'll say after create do track. All right, we're coming to a pause. Track evaluator. All right, we'll see you next for the last video.